How you going, people? Last one. I did 3 videos. This is my 4th one. So, damn it, if I keep turning this, people will be like, damn, can't he figure out how to turn that thing before he gets over there? No, I can't. I'm a dummy. Alright, so here's this case that I worked. Crazy cop story. Man, this was a hell of a case, but I wasn't really in on a lot of it from the beginning. I got in on it when the other cop screwed up and let the guy go. So basically what happened is there was a guy, he was in a couple gangs, they go to this house, they're having a party. These gang members just show up and start drinking beer, they just walk in the freaking house and kind of take over. And the wives there, and I guess ask the husbands, hey, who are these guys? We don't know them, nobody knows them. They're here, they got tats, they look like gang members, they're cussing, they're being rude. Who invited them? Why are they here? So the guys ask them to leave. They go, hey, this is our neighborhood, we run this neighborhood, we're the gang, we don't freaking leave, we're here, we're drinking your beer. So they go, hey man, you better get out of here, we're gonna call the cops. A thing ensued, the gang members went out to the car, got some knives, came back, and cut the shit out of all the men's faces, stabbed them, just tore people up. I can't remember if any women got cut up or not. I don't think they did because it would have been more publicity. So it was just males that got cut up, so I don't think it was that bad. But he cut up a lot of faces. So he gets away. Well, they catch him and they're going to convict him. Well, the guys who were working the case, and again, cases are decided on who gets to work a case, not from who's best or who does the best job. People get decided on who works cases, who investigates, and who's the investigator by who the DA likes, who they get along with, who they can trust, who they think will be a team player with them, who will manipulate evidence, who will lie for them, who will bend the truth for them, who will do whatever they want. That's how DAs get to pick who their investigator is. It's not assigned by, hey, this guy's going to work this case with you. Oh man, I don't want to work with freaking Gore. He's out of control. He'll be out there finding some shit that'll hurt my case and then he'll ruin the case for me. Okay. I don't give a shit. Because I'm not in a conviction. I'm just out there trying to find the truth, and if it hurts your case, I don't care. Well, DAs don't want, some DAs, a lot of DAs, don't want people like that working on their case. They want guys working on a case that are dumb, flat-foot cops who do what they're told. Look, I want you to go get this statement, and if the person doesn't say what I want to hear, I don't want you to bring it back to me. You got it? Good. Go out there, dumb, flat-foot, go do your job. I'm an attorney. I'm smart. So, this case, they get this thing to trial, they're trying to get him convicted. He didn't kill anybody, so they couldn't go for a death penalty. So I think they were going for like 200 years in prison. Well, the day before he's sitting in front of a jury, and of course his attorney did some tricks, and you know, he's a poor guy, and if we bring him out there in handcuffs in a jail suit and he's waddling, it'll make him look guilty. So we want to have him come out in a suit and be normal. So they let the guy out with a suit or something, and he's supposed to report for this guilty verdict. Well, the trial goes on, and the trial doesn't go good, and he's going to get convicted, and he knows it. So here's a shocker. Nobody saw this coming. They had 4 investigators, 3 DAs, the local cops. Nobody saw this coming. The guy skips out the day before the trial ends. Like one or 2 days before it ends, he disappears. Oh my God, are you serious? That can happen? Somebody who is guilty and is facing 200 years in jail is just going to leave and go on a run? I can't believe it. That's just unbelievable. I'm shocked. Well, I wasn't shocked. Bunch of dummies. They let his ass get away. Well, now they want Rick to work the case because knuckleheads out there running free, and they know the incompetent fucks that were working on the case, that let him go, that were yes men, that do good reports like they like, that say yes sir, no sir, and don't care about honesty or anything else. Those people, they know they can't go out and catch a bad guy. They can sit in court and look good, but they can't really go out and catch a bad guy. So I end up getting on the case, me and my other guy, because we're working a gang task force time, we're working gang crimes. This guy was a gang member, so he connected us. That way we could put 2 people on it, full time, said, go get this guy, I don't care what you have to do. So I was like, all right, I go get his ass. So we chased this dude, I mean, I want to say 30 to 45 days. I can't remember. But every time we got close, something happened. I mean, we had his phone, then he changed his phone, he got rid of his phone. We got close. I knew he was working with his wife. His wife worked for Fish and Game in California, Fish and Game. So that's kind of a quasi-law enforcement. They like to say they're the premier law enforcement agency, but it's kind of law enforcement. We call them fish cops. But so they're out there, you know, giving tickets for fishing without a license, and his wife works for him. But they still They're considered in a law enforcement team. They're considered peace officers. They're part of the good guys. Well, she works for them. So, I mean, I'm doing search warrants on her house, anywhere I can track him. I did his phone. Everybody he called, I did a freaking search warrant for their house, and we went and knocked on that freaking door, and we burnt every place. Because when you're chasing somebody, the best way to catch them is you burn everybody that can help them. You put the heat on them. They don't want problems. They don't want cops coming back. You want to inconvenience them. You want to violate their rights. Oh my God, I can't believe he said violate their... That's right. If you're helping a fleeing guy that's cutting up people and pissing on them after he cuts them up, yeah, I'm going to violate your rights if you're helping them, okay? Sorry. Whoa, cops should fall. Whatever. I'm doing a search warrant. I'm searching your house. I'm doing everything within the law that's going to harass the shit out of you. Because I want you to say, dude, stay away from me. I ain't helping you. I'm tired of the heat. I don't want the cops on me. You know, I talked about that Oakland case where we went around and all up and down the state trying to get those guys, and we just, every time we found out where they went, every bank they deposited, every place they hit, we burned it, we hit a warrant, we arrested the dude. So we shut down all their means of doing their business. Well, that's what I want to do with this dude. I had to shut him down. So his wife was uncooperative from the start. Pain in the ass. Need I say she was a bitch. But whatever, she's defending her husband, blah, blah. So I'm watching her parents' house, I'm watching her house, we're following her. I mean, we're doing all kind of shit trying to catch the dude. He keeps slipping away and it's pissing me off. We didn't finally catch him. But anyway, getting to his wife, finally his wife was like, we searched her house, we couldn't find anything. We went in there, searched her house, she was pissed, she came back, filed a complaint. They tore up my house, they messed my house up, blah, blah. You got to get this guy off me, they're crazy, they're harassing me, yeah, whatever. And I still harassed her, and I still followed her, and I still watched her, and I still watched her phone. So at one point, she either sent money or called him. And we found out he had it on her phone. He was using his cousin's phone. She called her cousin. We tracked the cousin down, tracked him in the area, saw his car somehow. We connected him to that call, so I was like, oh, hell no. She's going to jail. I'm tired of her. She's aiding and abetting a fleeing felon. She knows he's fleeing. I've already done a search warrant. She's going. So I go to her office. And it's a fishing game, and there's guys back there with uniform. There's some cops standing, you know, they got guns on. They got their little fish police badge on. And there's people at the counter, and I go in there, I go, hey, I'm arresting her. I need her to come out from behind the counter. Well, they get protective of her. They're like, well, she's a good employee, and she doesn't have to come out there. And who are you, and who do you work for? And I don't think you can come in here and arrest. This is a government building. I go, dude, I don't give a shit what it is. I said, she's under arrest. She's going to jail. Either she comes out from behind the counter, or I'm going over the counter. They're like, well, I don't know who you think you are, but you can't come over this. And about that time, I hopped that second counter. I grabbed her, and I was cuffing her up. Nobody touched me, luckily. There had been a huge fight. But they were just standing around. You can't do, what is wrong with you? You're crazy. You can't come back here. I was like, you know what? She's under arrest. I dragged her ass out there and arrested her ass. And she's crying, and her kids are going to protective services. And I said, you know what? Your kids are getting out of school. I'm going to have CPS there. I'm going to have them go picked up. Don't worry about them, because they're going in protective custody. And she's crying and blah, blah, blah. So she ends up finally giving us a tip on where he's at. Because she don't want to lose her kids. She don't want to go to jail. I can't remember if I let her out of jail, they booked her and I made her bail, or her kid. I can't remember what happened to her. All I remember is that I'm sitting here dealing with supposedly a law enforcement agent, fish cops in California, fishing game, and they're sitting here trying to protect this woman who's contacting her husband who's on a run, who just got convicted of 166 years. Because when you leave a trial, if you're not available for trial, normally the trial stops. Because you have a right to be there, to defend, to accuse, to face your accusers, etc. So he was there for part of the trial, but he left in the middle of the trial. Well, sometimes they'll stop that trial. But there's some case law, and there was a way they continued the trial because he had the right to be there. There wasn't a medical or good reason for him not being there. He went on a run. It was his choice. So the case continued. The jury went out, which only made it better because if he ran, which in my opinion, maybe the DA knew he was going to run, let him run, just to manipulate the jury more, saying, hey, if he ran, you know he's guilty. But whatever the reason, they convicted him, and he got 166 years in prison. So now he's on the run as a convicted felon, a convicted violent felon, who's willing to use force, and he's on the run now, and this damn person at Fish and Game is protecting him. Oh, man. And her parents, same way. You know, did a search warrant. Why are you harassing our daughter? She's a good kid, and it's not her fault. No, shut up. I don't want to hear all that bullshit. All you guys know where he's at. You're making us waste our time. He's going to be out there stabbing, robbing, or killing someone else. And you're sitting here trying to protect your daughter and him and everybody else. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. Rick, that's rude. You shouldn't talk to citizens that way as a piece. Shut up. I don't want to hear that shit either. When you're out there dealing, trying to get really bad guys doing that shit, you don't have time for people obstructing your investigation. I don't. There may be some people out there like, ma'am, can I please search your house? Because this guy's on the run, he might kill somebody. No, get out of here, my daughter's good. Okay, I'm sorry to bother you. I'm just trying to be a good peace officer. I'm here to serve and protect. Bye-bye. And leave. That's not serving and protecting to me. That's serving and protecting the dummies. That's not serving and protecting the public. So we end up tracking this guy down, and we get his daughter. She gives us a tip on his new cell phone. So we hook up. I go to Bell's bondsman, because when you post bail, you have to pretty much give every name, every person you know. I mean, you have to give your life away for them to give you bail. So he had posted bail, put his mom's house up, so his mom's going to lose his house. He didn't care. So he did all this shit on this bail thing. So I had all this information. Well, not only are we looking for him, but the bail agents are looking for him, because now he's not in trial, they're going to lose their bail. So they're like willing to help us. Hey, dude, whatever you need here, man, we want him too, because we get a bonus for catching him and blah. I go, hey, man, I don't care. I'll let you know if we find him, and you can show up. And if you want to claim your bonus, I don't give a shit. So we're working together with that. Well, finally, when we get the cell phone and I start working, we end up crossing with another agency, the Career Criminal Apprehension Team, who I've worked with before, but I didn't know they were working this guy. Somehow, he got connected or connected somebody that they were after, so he became a suspect, and they found out he was wanted, so they were kind of working him on the peripheral. He wasn't their primary target. For me, it was my primary target. I was going to get this guy. So we hooked up with them, started following him. That made the case a little bit more priority, because they had 2 other cops that were rolling to help them. They didn't need to use their whole team. They could have part of the team do something else, and a few guys work with us. So anyway, we end up tracking his phone, and we know that the girl that is using her phone works at the theater. So we know that we go to the theater, we badge and go, hey, does so-and-so work here? Yeah, what time she come to work? We'd ask her. She's a witness to an accident. We just want to ask, because if we told her we're looking for a guy who's trying to kill me, we think he's with her, somebody's going to call her and go, hey man, the cops are here. And so we just say, yeah, we think she was a witness to an accident. We just got to get her a statement from an accident. So they're like, oh yeah, well, she'll be in a couple hours. Perfect. So we go sit at her house. Sure enough, she gets in her car. She pulls away. We rip her off halfway to, we don't want anybody at work to know. So we light her up, snag her, tell her she's going to jail, prison. We lie to her. You know, she's guilty of harboring. We know he's in the house. We know she's letting him use a cell phone. He's convicted, and now she's going to jail for her life. So she gives it up. He's in the house. Perfect. Any guns in the house? I think so. He showed me a gun. Okay, cool. So now we know he's in the house, and we had units around the house waiting for him. So the house is staked out. We know he's not leaving. We know he's in the house. She just told us he's in the house. So now we're going in. He's a convicted felon. We know he's in there. So I think we called out the SWAT team to make the entry, because we knew he had a gun. They're going to have the barriers and the flashbangs and all that bullshit. So we called them out, but in the meantime, while we're circling the house, he sees us. And he sticks his head through the window and he's looking around, because he's paranoid anyway, he knows how to run. And he's probably trying to call her, and she's not answering. And so he's probably called her at work, and they said, she didn't show up. So, I mean, he's not a dummy. He may be a crook, but he's not a dummy. He's figured out something ain't right. She went to work. She's supposed to be at work. She didn't answer her phone, and now work says she didn't show up. I better start looking around. So he looks around. He sees us. I don't know who he sees around there, but he knows the cops are around. So once the gig's up, I think we get a couple more units, uniforms there. I don't think the SWAT team ever ends up showing up. We get a couple units, and we start bullhorning him. Yo, man, we know you're in there. Come out. I can't remember the guy's name. I know he called me and Joe niggas when he got out, because we were like, dude, what happened to the big shootout? Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, he's been running around telling everybody he ain't going to jail, and he's going out with a fight, and they're going to have to kill him, and any cops that come after him are going to die. So it's kind of put a little bit more risk factor on taking him down. So we know he has a gun. Personally, I think he's a pussy, because he went and cut up people who were unarmed in a house in a nice neighborhood in front of their wives, and pissed on them, and pissed on their furniture, and did all this bullshit with his gang members. So to me, he's already a pussy. So I don't believe he's going to shoot anybody. But whatever. They always say that shit, and that's all right. It just gives us more reason to use more force and to go get him. So we surround the house. Finally, we end up yelling. He's like opening the door saying, fuck you. And he's shutting the door, and he won't come out. We're like, dude, we're going to flashbang. You better come out. All this shit back and forth. He's like, fuck you, Gore. Fuck you, Villanueva. He's being an ass. Well, I want to say 30, 45 minutes go by. And all of a sudden, here comes Mr. Badass who can cut up people who are unarmed, opens the fucking door, comes out with his hands out, lays down, okay man, you got me, lays up and gives up. So obviously, I'm pissed, because I think he deserved to fucking be shot and have to be treated like he was. So when he did that, we couldn't really beat his ass, couldn't do much, and he was a pussy for not shooting out when he had a gun. So we go in the house, we find a loaded gun, he's got a loaded gun in there, could have shot it out, could have been a man. Instead, he was a pussy. He came out, laid down, left the gun inside. So what did I do? I called him a fucking pussy. I go, oh, big pussy man, you could have beat up someone else. And I said, we're here, you got a gun in the house, and you can't even come out shooting, you're a pussy. Fuck you, Gore, fuck you. I go, fuck me, you're going to jail, I don't give a shit. So, was I wrong? Maybe. I don't give a shit. He was a piece of shit, and I hate cowards. So, that was a pretty good case. We ended up getting him in custody, and of course, you know, everybody was all happy when I can go out and catch somebody, but when I turn a DA in or try to catch a crooked DA hiding and lying, well, that's not good. Now we can't have that. All right, we'll end that there. That's my crazy cop story.